What is up, everybody? My name is Cole. I'm a part-time real estate investor, full-time legacy airline pilot, flying the 737. I had my final flight in it for now, and I'm going off to the 777, starting training soon. And I'm a part-time military instructor pilot in the Guard. I want to show you guys the inside look into almost a $10 million real estate portfolio by showing you what my last month's expenses looked like. The good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to show you all my statements directly from my property manager because I got sick and tired of seeing people talking about these big numbers in real estate as if nothing ever goes wrong. And I'm here to tell you that things do go wrong, and it's not perfect every month. Some months are great, some months are bad. But I'm going to show you every single month this year, 2026, starting with January, so you guys can get an inside look as to what it looks like. And as I continue to grow, by the end of this month, I should be well over 100 units. And by March, into the 120s. You guys will be able to see that progression with me. So you'll be able to see furnaces going out, water heaters going out, the costs associated with all those things, and how much money am I actually making by the end of the day. So the statements I'll show you, we'll talk about all the month's expenses. This is before I pay for debt. It's before I pay for taxes, insurance. There's a lot of other things that still come out, paying for my accountant, things like that. But I want to give you guys a front row seat as to what that looks like because there's so much BS out there. So many people just talking about the good, and I want to show you the reality. So we're going to jump over to my computer. We're going to get into the spreadsheets, and you guys will get an inside look into what 70 plus units look like in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'll talk to you soon. All right, everybody, welcome to my computer. This is the beginning of our month. You'll see up here I've got a bunch of tabs open. These are all the different properties, and I just left basically the street numbers. I tried to redact like tenant information and whatnot. Not so much that I'm super worried about myself. I'm more worried about telling somebody where somebody lives. My tenants don't deserve that. They didn't ask to be in this video. So again, it's not to be like super sneaky or anything. It's just, I think it's best sometimes to leave some of that information out, and I don't want to get sued. I don't even know if you can be sued for that. But anyways, First LLC brought in $12,668, and I saw $10,659 of that, and we'll go through step by step. First one, this is a duplex on South 29th in Milwaukee. It brought in basically $2,000, almost $2,100. All I had was the management fees. Literally no fees. Nothing went wrong. This is the kind of stuff that people are going to sell you on the internet and say, this is what happens every single month. I can promise you that is not the case. This property costs a lot of money to get repaired. I bought this property at an auction for 90 grand and put a good 40 grand into it to include a $10,000 boiler. My friend who put this all together for me, he did a lot to get this property stabilized, and I thank him profusely for it because I just bought it sight unseen. I drove past it, and I said, that looks good enough as a vacant foreclosure, and that was a bad move. But it's probably worth about $210, $220 on a good day with the sun shining, so we'll make money off of it, and we're making money off of it monthly right now. But again, this is not every month with this property. Another duplex. This one just closed on Friday. Sold it for $156, I think it was. I think I actually put that in a video already. So we brought in a bunch of cash, keys for the realtor, and then management fees, a late fee. We split the late fees. So you'll see I got late fees up here and gave some back to the management company. And then I took a distribution of $1,300 for this property. This one, South 12th, $400 in, $995 in, a little HVAC repair. No heat. We got a bunch of no heats this month. A lot of people were complaining about no heat, so we're fixing furnaces, we're replacing furnaces, the whole deal. And then another plumbing problem. We'll see a lot of this stuff. Sink drains getting clogged, and it's a trip charge. So somebody has to drive out there, clear it, and then come back to the management company. That costs time and money, and it costs me money, basically. Then the management fees, paying 8% to my manager. Here's another one, Roosevelt. This is a 4-unit, so this thing just churns money, honestly. For the most part, this is a really solid property. Garbage, people left garbage outside. They cleaned it up. Part of keeping the property clean. I could have just left it out there, but the city would fine me anyways. And maybe they already did. Maybe that's why they came out there. The city fines me for that kind of stuff often. So, but it's one of those things. It's hard to stay on top of. People throw stuff into the streets at all hours of the day, so you got to be on top of it. But we've got a bunch of rent income. You'll see I've got back rents from September. I got back rents from January. I mean, people fall behind on rent all the time, but they're trying to get caught back up. Bunch of snow removal charges. Again, do you have to do that? No. But if somebody slips and falls and breaks their neck, who's going to be responsible? Could be me. So we try to take care of those properties as far as that goes. More income, cleaning expense. I don't think they actually clean it. I don't bring it up because it is what it is. But cleaning fee, management fee for $462. and we saw 48.26 on this building, and we bought this building for 265, I think it was, and we owe maybe 170 on it. So this thing, I mean, this is a big. It's 3 unit. 2 of the units are 3 bedrooms. 2 of the units are 2 bedrooms. So this building really does do pretty solid, and I do not plan on selling it anytime soon. North 37th. We got some lower rent income. We got some management fees and owner distribution. So this is another duplex. This is the infamous duplex that I bought with basement problems and ended up having to pay 40 grand to fix the basement. I think I got it for about 90 grand, maybe 95. And we put $40,000 into the basement. And we had just done a cash out refinance on the South 29th property I mentioned. And that money went all into the basement of this place, which is across the street from a strip club called Gold Diggers, which is kind of cool if you guys want to try to find it. So this place won't make money for the longest time. Sure, it made $1,300 right now, but guess what? We still have taxes, insurance, and all that stuff to pay for, and we have 40 grand into a basement, which raises the rent $0. So that's part of owning it, though. Rent roll for this LLC is super thin right now. The reason that it's such a small deal right now is because this LLC is in the middle of the massive 1031 exchanges I was talking about. This week alone, we'll close on 20 units. Then we got another 6 single families that will be closing on after that. We've got $340,000 in a 1031 exchange fund right now, and all that money is being reallocated to bigger, better deals. So we got rid of all the rickety old South Side stuff, and we're moving on into brick multifamily for the long haul. So here's the rent rolls. This place I bought, like I said, for 90 grand, have about 40 grand into it. So I'm in it for about 130. About $2,000, $2,100 a month, not bad. This one I got for $105,000. It makes $1,500 a month, but it is now sold. I sold it for $156. South 12th is also about to be sold, $1,890 a month. Has some basement problems. Apparently, I'm selling it for $125. I think it is. Should close this week. Roosevelt, $39.94. This building just is awesome. I really do love this property, and I never plan to sell this. Refi till you die on this one. And this one, we got it for $265. We owe about $170 on it, and we could sell this, I think, for about $400 if we really wanted to. North 37th, I got this thing for 90 grand and sunk 40 grand into the basement. So we won't talk about that, but $14.94 a month on the rents there. Next property, this is just one that's in my name, actually. First Street, it's a single family house. Rent came in, late fees came in. They got caught up on some of the back rents, and they didn't quite get caught up on December, and probably not on January. We'll see if they can stay alive or if they're going to get evicted. But management fees, half the late fee, as you can see, went to the management company, and then I got the distribution of $11.47. And so it's just a one single family. Not a bad property, $13.95. I bought this one for $65,000. All right, so next LLC. This is the big boy. Brought in $45,000 this month, but we had a ton of expenses, and we got $18,000 of that money distributed to us. East Chambers is for sale right now. If you go look up East Chambers in Milwaukee, you'll find it. It's not the crown jewel. It's kind of ugly, but if you want to buy it, I will sell it to you. And if anybody off of this video buys it, I will give you a $5,000 closing credit just because I think it's hilarious that you found this in a video. $66 to fix a door, bunch of rent income, water bill. Duplexes, 3 families, 4 families, you're paying the water. The beautiful thing about single families, even though some people hate them, is the fact that you do not pay the water bill, and that adds up. I mean, $365 right off the bat just to give somebody water. That's part of the deal. You know that when you buy these buildings. Removed a bunch of trash, repaired and installed a lockbox for the door. The lower unit is vacant right now. Management fees, late fee, and guess what? It didn't make any money. So I had to transfer money from another property to cover this one for the month. And that's just an accounting thing. It really doesn't matter. It all comes to the same bank account anyways. But for accounting purposes, you want to keep track of income and expenses for every property separately. So that way you can give your tax person a fighting chance. North Holton. This is a single family. Rent income for January came in, and a massive water bill that we were behind on came out because it didn't get transferred properly for some reason. Management fees and a distribution of $110. So this is a great example. People are talking about this rental makes $1,200 a month. It doesn't make that. I didn't even cover taxes for the month on this thing. Like, this thing basically just made nothing. It's negative. And you'll see that a lot. These are the properties that I bought recently, though. This is one of the ones that I'm trying to stabilize. So old water bills and stuff like that, you'll get those weird transfers. Things will happen. It'll come out in the wash, and that's what I believe. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But in this month, it didn't make anything. Another North Holton. Brought in some money. Got a placement fee. My management company charges 50% of the first month's rent to place a tenant on top of their management fee, on top of the other things. That's just the way the game works. Salt treatments for this property, another massive water bill for $1,400. And then we had electricity and we had repairs. You can kind of see here they're talking about a rusted out tub, and we're potentially going to have to replace that at some point. And then no heat call. They had to diagnose a failed control board and high limit switch and replace that. $672 right there. This happens all the time. Another no heat. So the upper and the lower both got slammed with no heats. And it was cold as can be in January in Wisconsin. So it's not surprising that no heats were coming through because people were getting cold. Furnaces were breaking. That stuff happens when it gets cold outside. So we brought in almost no money compared to our expenses, obviously. I mean, this is tons and tons of expenses. So we had to transfer more money from this property and this property to keep them running. Again, just an accounting magic trick at the bottom. But as you can see, if you bought this single fan or this duplex and you said, I'm going to retire, I got myself a duplex. Yeah, good luck, buddy. This stuff happens every month. It is what it is. It's part of the game. It comes out in the wash. At least that's what I'm hoping. Bobolink. This is another property I got last year with the fire money from my single family that burned down. Door hinge repair, management fees, and then transferred to help out other properties because it made $1,845 minus the fees here. And then it transferred money to Chambers, which we talked about, and the Holton property, which both were negative for the month. St. Paul, 3-family, bunch of income, bunch of salt treatments, and management fees. And then it transferred to the properties that were having problems. And you'll see that as a theme. Mount Vernon, another 3-family, bunch of income, and then boom, $2,700, and you got yourself a new high-efficiency furnace. Is that the best possible price? No. Is it convenient to have a management company that handles it and I didn't even know anything about it? Yes. $2,100 is what I just replaced a furnace for in my own personal life at a property that is not this rental that I live in right now, and that was for a 66,000 BTU furnace. I can't imagine that's what they put in here, but maybe they did. I have no idea. But it wasn't egregious, right? They made $500, $600, $700 off of me probably in that deal. But it's the cost of doing business, I do believe, especially with my normal jobs, flying all the time. I need these different people in play to help me continue to scale, which is what I care about. The lower unit tenant moved out. They didn't beat the shit out of the unit, so they got $771 back into their bank account. And a new person moved in and gave me $1,000. And then the rent ready charge. So it costs $1,800 to reset the unit for the new tenant. That's, as you can see, replacing doors and fixing stuff, painting stuff. I mean, it's all kinds of things. Smoke detectors, just little stuff. But it adds up. And obviously the management company is going to make a spread on that. Salt treatments, as always, lower rent income, and basically a bunch of random fees, inspections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it got money transferred to it as cash in, as you can see, to help bring it to zero at the end of the month. First Street, another new one, brought in money, stabilized a porch, management fees, and transferred money to help out other properties. And this is why scale is so important. If you don't have the scale, you can't transfer money to help out other properties. So the faster you can get to scale, I think the better off you are. Sure, you're going higher on the risk. Sure, you need to bring money for down payments and all these things. But the faster you can get out of the 5 units and below, 10 units and below, you're going to have some good months of properties. You're going to have bad months of properties. But if you can share the wealth, you can keep things upright. Velar Phillips, water bill, management fees, and transfer to help everybody else. Actually, yeah. 3rd Street, this is another new property, duplex. Money came in, cleared a drain, cleared another drain for the upper and the lower. The lower had no heat and no hot water. They came and checked it. They had high limit breaker. They taught them how to not do that, hopefully, because as you can see, informed tenant not to set thermostat 2, and God knows how high it was set. It's probably 90 degrees that they had it set, but that's just the way it is. And some people don't know that's how that works, so hopefully they were able to fix that. 6th Street. This was a single family. Somebody moved in. I think they're paying $14.95 a month. Security deposits, not free money. You're going to have to give it back to them when they move out, more than likely. And rent charges. Trip charge for make sure the utilities are on. Now, this is kind of important. My management company does this for me, and it's really, really important, I think, because if you have a single family or any property that's sitting vacant in the winter and the furnace fails for some reason or something happens, guess what? You could totally be losing a ton of money because the water is going to freeze. And if the house is not winterized, it's going to be in really bad shape. So something to think about, and something that maybe not all management companies do. I'm appreciative that they do. Even if it costs me $45, I'd rather not have to deal with a frozen house, because that is going to be a nightmare for so many reasons. and transferred cash out to help other properties. 76th Street, beautiful single family. Nothing ever happens here really, knock on wood. Brought money in, management fees, owner distribution. 14th Street, money came in, money came out for plumbing. No heat again. As I said, that's a theme of the month. And front door lock failure. They fixed the door and they put new keys in, whatever. Management fees, owner distribution. 6th Street, money came in. Repairs for garage door, salt treatments, a bunch of those. Placement fees, that's 50% of first month's rent. Repair to remove all boards from windows and repair the window. Okay, that's kind of necessary, right? So nothing crazy there. HVAC, no heat again. I mean, we've seen these multiple times. Repairs, no thermostat failures. Anything that can happen will happen as far as the heat goes this month. So 7th Street, nothing to see there. 25th, rent income, money came out. Management fees, distribution, and guess what? Water heater, boom, gone. Those happen all the time. This is a different Roosevelt property, so it's also on Roosevelt, but it is it's a duplex instead of a 4-family. Nobody paid any money for some reason. $600 came in, management fees came out, $552. This is supposed to be making $2,400 a month. So as you can see, it's not doing that right now. West Villard, money came in, a bunch of money came out. Not really. It's just little stuff. And these little things do add up, obviously. Placement fee, obviously that's expensive too, but it is what it is. Money came in to help cover it for the month. This one actually was starting at a negative. So that's something I should have mentioned at the beginning. At the beginning of these statements, you can see I started in the hole $3,200. So really, I had $20,000 in expenses, $45,000 of income. So this should have been $21,000, but obviously did not shake out that way because I owed the money. So we'll get back to it. 76, we already did that one. 14th, 6th, this is a single family. No heat. Okay, yeah, we talked about this, the thermostat failure. So we're going to continue on. 7th Street didn't bring any money in. 25th Street, $1,300. And then boom, water heater wipes you out. I know we already talked about that. There's the duplex that made no money. West Villard brought in a little bit of money, had a bunch of expenses and needed transfers in. 46th Street brought money in. Money came out. Just management fees, owner distribution, not too shabby. 46th Street money came in. Management fee came out. Off we went. And the one interesting thing is these I bought last year. 46, both of these I bought them last year. They were dogs for a while, and then they got them stable and they're good to go now. That's what I expect to happen to all these ones that you're seeing. All these erroneous charges. These are all for new properties, and I think that once we get things stabilized, they'll look very similar to these 46th Street properties. At least that's the hope, right? 36th Street money came in, water bill came out, replaced flooring, and boom, we basically made no money on that one. Another 36th Street, money came in, more repairs, bathtub, the blockage. This is talking about that there's a potentially that there's something very heavily corroded and we need to replace the stack. Not the end of the world. I'd rather do that than have the problems that come with not replacing it, right? HVAC, no heat again. Tons of those this month. Management fee, late fee, owner distribution. Carmen is a big duplex. Money came in. Overhead garage door servicing, management fees, money came out. And here are the rent rolls. Single family, a duplex. And so it makes it really easy to look through this and kind of get an idea for what's performing, what's underperforming. This one will be better once it gets a new tenant in the lower. This one could go up. This should be about $850 a unit, maybe $899 on a good day. But, it's hard to move rents. People just think you can just raise rents tomorrow, but you're going to accept a higher vacancy rate. There's problems that come with that. And so it's not always super easy to do that. And I'm just scrolling through these. You can pause at any time I don't know, this is messed up. It's supposed to be $1,200 a piece. Not really sure what happened there, but hopefully I could probably ask them to fix that. But you can pause the video at any time and get an idea of what these duplexes are going for. A lot of them are pretty similar, and the single families as well. Let's see here. This are 2-3 families. These are some of my favorite properties, and when I bought them, I really was not expecting them to be that great, but they've turned out to be pretty solid, especially now that we've gotten the rents higher. $66.98 gross, only $1,300 cash out, $5,300 on the disbursements. Mill Road. This building brought in a bunch of money, had some salt charges, and securing a unit that somebody moved out of. And so that's why you only see $2,200 on this building, because it's only 2 out of 3 units filled. Silver Spring is the nicer of the two properties. Money came in, $3,600 worth. Snow removal with salt treatment. $291 on the management fee, and then $3,021 on the owner distribution. And this one should be $1,395 as well, so doing really well. And these should definitely be $1,395. I don't know why these are redacted. They're lower. You can do the math. I think it's like 1,099, 12 something, and then like 11 something. So these should be $1,395. I don't know how I end up redacting that on accident. They should mirror each other, honestly. They're the same units, 3-bed, 1.5 bath townhouse units, super solid. And then the last one is a newer LLC. This is a single family. I bought this one for $64,000, I think it was. Put about $15,000 in it, maybe $10,000 into it. Should be worth about $130,000, and brings in pretty solid rent. $1,100 is what I took after fees this month. You'll get some light socket. I mean, stuff happens. These are rentals. They get beat up. Stuff gets overlooked, and we slowly fix them. Garage door servicing, placement fee for a new tenant because somebody got kicked out of the water bill, legal fees, repairs. I mean, there's always stuff going on. This is another stack that might have to get replaced, which is what it is. 45th Street. This one was wild. Somebody paid all this late rent. I think it's because they got on rent assistance and the money just finally came in. But I was like, holy crap, this thing brought in $8,900. This is just some rinky-dink duplex. Management fees were $686 for that bad boy, plus a late fee, which we gave half back. You'll see it up here somewhere. Oh, it's actually the total of all these late fees. And it netted out to $8,064 for just that one property. So this thing just crushed it. Juno, water bill, management fee, nothing too crazy. These properties have been pretty quiet. Management fees, owner distribution, 36, management fees, owner distribution. I mean, you can see the work orders for this one has been pretty low. Maybe it was just a lucky month. Center Street, this one is kind of a dog. I bought it for like $90,000, but between the water and electric bills, this thing did not make any money really. That's okay. That happens sometimes. 29th, management fees, distribution. That's a single family. And then there's one unit. There's two of them. There's two of them. Two, and singles. Another duplex at the end. This is the commercial building. And then North 29th. So you can see every month stuff goes wrong, stuff goes right. It's never the same month every month. Who knows what's going to happen this month? You can't get too tied up in the pro forma numbers because what looks good on paper might not be good in reality, and vice versa. You just have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to understand that it's anybody's guess what could happen every month. People are going to move out. People are going to stop paying. People are going to pay $8,000 in back rents. I mean, you just never know. Usually it's to the bad. Usually it's not great, but sometimes it's good. And so I think it's worth considering all that stuff when you decide to get into rental properties and realize that scale really is where things change, because as you can see, I had a bunch of properties here that did really poorly, but good properties were able to wipe it out and, at least bring it back to zero. If you don't have that, if you have a couple duplexes, you can get crushed in a given month because you don't have anything to balance it out. So if you're buying things for the right price, you're financing correctly, and you're getting yourself set up correctly, you can balance it out so that way the ones that cash flow really well make up for the ones that might be a dog that month. And the hope is that you can continue to refine them and make them better so that way the work orders are less and less and less frequent. And like in this LLC, I mean, we didn't really have a whole lot of work orders in comparison to the money that was generated. And if you look at this LLC, we had, not that one was pretty good too. This LLC, we had a ton of work orders this month, a lot of no heat calls. We started in the negative. I mean, that's just how it goes. So something to consider. Hopefully this was insightful for some of you to get an idea of what it actually looks like month by month, and hopefully you can stop along the way and really take a look at the spreadsheets a little bit more closely. But I want to give you guys an insight on what it looks like in a normal month, and give you guys an opportunity to see what an operation actually looks like, because it's not just rainbows and lollipops. There's a lot of bad stuff that happens every month, and you have to be willing and able to roll with the punches. So appreciate you guys watching as always. Hopefully it was insightful. Hopefully I wasn't just rambling too much, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. See ya.